up, developers? It's the open mic here on the RealToughCandy YouTube channel, the developer open mic, where anybody is free to come on stage, if you will, and talk about anything as long as it relates to software. We have 4 awesome devs coming up to the stage tonight. Let me introduce them real quick. Firstly, we have Donovan, all the way from Michigan. He is a cool dude and he has a lot of insight to share. Then coming up after Donovan, we have Caleb. He has a pretty big YouTube channel and knows a lot as well. He worked for IBM and now he's doing his own thing. You're not gonna wanna miss what he has to say. Then third up, we have GC talking about the importance of networking. GC has a super creative video. You want to see that one too. And then closing it out is Cam, who recently decided to take the plunge and go to a coding boot camp. Everyone has an opinion on boot camps, it seems, but Cam is one of the few who has actually gone to one, and he's gonna share some of his experiences with that. Enough babbling. Before we start the open mic, I do have to pay a bill. If you're looking for an all-in-one solution for your freelancing needs, check out Template Monsters 1. This is a new package they're offering. You can pay monthly or you can pay yearly. And basically they're giving you almost every tool you need to get started building websites. They're giving you hosting, they're giving you templates, they're giving you ideas, all different kinds of tools. This way it saves you a lot of time. You're not pecking around for all this stuff. It's a one-stop shop. Again, that is Template Monsters 1 package. Check it out. I have a special coupon code in the description box. Template Monster is sponsoring today's video. So thank you guys for stepping up and sponsoring this open mic. Without further ado, we're gonna start it off. Taking the mic right now is Donovan.
Hi there, my name is Donovan Brown. I am a web developer with about 5 years experience. I currently work full-time as a front-end developer at a digital agency near my hometown. So how I got started in web development, I saw this very inspiring video on YouTube a few years ago called What Most Schools Don't Teach. And it just goes to show that in that video that you don't need to be a genius to code, you don't need a college degree, you don't need to be this complicated, mathematician, which me growing up, that's what I thought, developers were, or to get into development or in coding and programming, you had to be a genius. But, that video explains that's not the case. You just need to have the determination to persevere and to figure out things. So, after seeing that video, I took classes online. I looked up different resources such as Codecademy, Team Treehouse, Udemy, and I just built my skills from there. It's kind of funny because I started off as a help desk technician fixing computers. I'm actually CompTIA A+ certified as of 2010, fixing computers. So when I saw that video, that really inspired me to give, programming and development a try. So I did freelancing from there. I eventually landed on roles, contract roles, doing development as well. So it was a really awesome transition. So some of the things that I've learned, lessons that I've learned making this transition is, not to spread yourself too thin. You may want to specialize into something, getting into this, whether it be front-end web development, back-end web development, mobile development, game development, wherever development or skills you're trying to master, just make sure you specialize into something. I think that's really important. The mistake that I made, I spread myself too thin, and it was hard for me to land roles or specific roles just because I didn't have enough experience, enough aptitude to, do these tasks that were being displayed as job postings. So definitely you want to figure out what you want to specialize in. I would say if you're, for example, going for full stack development, for me, what I would do is start in front end development, then do back end development, get comfortable front end, then move on to back end. And say, for instance, you may want to go into mobile development. You can also go into mobile development eventually once you get comfortable with full stack development. So that's really something to consider. One of the other things that I like to do as well, I like volunteering. I volunteer at different learning programs. One of them is called Journey, where we teach kids how to code. We teach them how to make websites, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and this other program called Scratch.mit, which is a programming learning language for kids. So that's kind of to get their gears turning into web development. So yeah, that's what I like to do. I like to teach. I like to also mentor as well. I have two mentees that's under me. One of them actually landed a role as a software developer not too recently, and then the other one mentee is a good buddy of mine who graduated from high school recently and doesn't want to go to college. So I'm mentoring him to become a web developer, and he's under my wing right now. So I'd like to take this time to thank RealToughCandy for having me on her channel, and to give me this opportunity, this platform to kind of let you guys know about my background. If you guys want to follow me, she'll post my social media links. If you guys want to stay connected, talk to me, have any questions, definitely feel free to ask them, and I'll be more happy to help you guys. So thanks so much for your time, and I hope to chat with you soon.
Thank you, Donovan. Coming up next, we have a guy with his own YouTube channel, and he is going to tell us what's on his mind.
Wow, thank you so much, Candy, for inviting me to your open mic night on your channel. Now, you said I could talk about anything, which gives me an overwhelming number of options. So I'm just stuck here thinking, should I talk about development? But like, no, that's too boring. Maybe I should just talk about some of my achievements and how I got them. But no, that's not really much to talk about. So I'm just gonna talk about a little bit of everything, and ultimately go back to my roots as a awkward teenager, and I just started creating YouTube videos, and that is how I got interested in technology. Each person here watching is probably in a different stage of their career. Maybe you guys are senior developers, or maybe you're a beginner developer and you're just looking for some basic tips on how to get started in the industry. And if that's the case, you should be watching Candy, not me, but I'm going to share my experience. And yes, I started doing YouTube videos pretty much right away when I started getting interested in technology. So it was kind of like I was doing both of these things at once, learning technology, creating videos, and these complemented one another. When I create videos, I have to basically understand something enough to explain it to another person. And this is really known as the Feynman technique, which is basically a technique of learning created by some fine man. Come on, Caleb. Essentially, when you teach, you have to break concepts down, and it makes you really think if you actually understand something. So if you're able to take a complex topic and explain it to a middle schooler, then you probably have a pretty good grasp of the subject. And this is basically what I did to start teaching on my YouTube channel. There was a couple of things that were giving me problems with database design and some web development stuff. So I was just like, hey, I'm gonna make some videos, and heck, I'll probably become super famous and make millions one day on the YouTubes. I'm still waiting for that day, but I have learned a lot in the process. So my studies really originated with database design because I was trying to learn these principles, these normal forms, and there wasn't any good video content on this subject. So I was like, heck bro, I'm just going to make my own videos on this subject, which required me to plan out the information in a lot of detail and understand each piece of it. And looking back, the content was pretty terrible, but it was all right. And then I went one step broader and started just studying development, learning different languages. And anytime I try to learn these languages, I take the approach of breaking down the concepts so simply that I could explain them to my mom or dad. No offense, mom or dad. And not only did I try to break down the concept so simply that I could explain it to anyone, I also tried to focus on the principles behind whatever I'm learning. So if you're studying databases as an example, rather than just learning MongoDB or SQL Server or whatever it might be, learn first the types of different databases and learn about why you might want to use one over the other. Then you learn a little bit more about the database theory and why a particular database was created. Then once I start studying these relational databases a little bit more, I realize there's actually a standard that most of the databases are built off of. So by learning this standard, I can basically transfer my skills from database to database and be proficient in numerous different database systems. I'm able to learn all this stuff because I focus on the common things between all of these things. So when something new comes out, such as blockchain, everybody's talking about this. Well, what exactly is this? Well, if you just study blockchain as its own individual thing and you don't have any prior experience or knowledge, it's probably going to be pretty confusing. But if you have some history with data structures, it might not be so bad. Because once you realize a blockchain is just a variation of a linked list, then it's really simple. Because all a linked list really is just nodes of data that are connected. Same thing with a blockchain. The way it works is a little bit different because we throw in hashing, but the same structure of a linked list is there. So if you've never studied blockchain, but you have that good foundation of information and not just syntax, then it's a lot easier to pick up new things, which allows you to stay up to date with technology. Oftentimes, the core concepts stay the same with just like a new layer you have to break through, but once you get to that core stuff, you understand it, assuming you have that foundational knowledge. So on top of learning the concepts, you should also choose one implementation that you're kind of most familiar with. So for me, I'm most familiar with Java and C#. Those are my programming languages of choice. So for blockchain, if you're looking for an implementation, I would look into Ethereum. Check out etherscan.io, and this will allow you to see an implementation of that blockchain structure, where you just have sequential nodes, and each node contains a series of transactions. So the Ethereum blockchain is the blockchain that powers the Ether cryptocurrency. Once you understand that underlying blockchain, how it's visualized, how things are connected, then you can go study more on the hashing and the different things you need to know, but you understand that fundamental stuff, then switching over to a new cryptocurrency or a new blockchain use is a lot easier. So thank you guys for listening to me ramble. I'm not really sure why Candy invited me, because I just have a way of talking about nothing for a long time. But I really do appreciate it, Candy, and you guys are always welcome to come join me on my channel. I do have some content on blockchain and cryptocurrency and databases and coding and... So thank you, and don't forget to subscribe to RealToughCandy, and peace out.
All right, give it up for Caleb. Thank you, Caleb. Coming up now, we have GC. I love this guy's video. It's so creative. He's going to talk about the importance of networking.
Hey, how's everyone doing? Thank you for joining the stream here. I'm just going to do a little bit of React. So I'm just going to put my name right here. This is German Cruise. Wait, should I network? Well, yeah, man, you should definitely network. I think, what is networking? Networking is a way to make a connection with someone that usually leads to beneficiaries. It's sort of like taking candy from a baby. Actually, no, that's not what it is at all. Here, let me give you a personal example. So I got my first ever job when I was in high school from my stepfather. He gave me a job at some fabrication shop full of welders. And just imagine, like, if I didn't have 9 years of a close relationship with my stepdad, I wouldn't have gotten that job, you know? I'm talking about 9 to 10 years of networking here, guys. Now, you're probably wondering, like, does family count as networking? I mean, sure it does. If this is your brother-in-law.
Tech lead here.
What's even crazier is that I found people who found developers on Discord and turned that into a job offer. It was insane. It sounds pretty dramatically absurd, but trust me, this is no joke. Miracles actually do happen. So these are just some of the many examples that are untold. I mean, would it be fair if I told you that I wouldn't be here today if I didn't stumble across a couple videos on YouTube about web development? If I didn't join a few Discords, would I still be here today? If I didn't choose to build online relationships that eventually led me to this point, to you in fact. I mean, networking isn't just important, it might actually change the course of your life. So why should you network? Well, you should network if you're definitely looking for a job. You should network if you're looking to, grow, looking for new opportunities. Basically trying to look for advice or information. That's a good way to network, to basically get information from someone that's already been in your shoes and to gain a mentor along your journey, right? That can guide you to meeting your goals. Okay, so how do you start networking? You can network at a line at McDonald's or at a React.js conference. It's actually more simple than you think. So if you don't have those opportunities or coincidences, but if you live in a desert, right, all you really have to do is get engaged with your community now. Like, leave a comment, join a Discord like RTC's Discord, meet new people today. Like, it is amazing. In fact, let me come up with a list for you to start networking and expand your level of engagement. So join a platform Join a platform like, Facebook, Discord, Slack, or even Twitter. Like, I didn't know Twitter was a place for developers, right? Participate in community, group activities, or hackathons, stuff like that. Just get engaged, meet new people, or enrolling in the university or joining a boot camp is a great way to network. Definitely, you meet new people all the time. Make a social network. Get curious. I would say get curious and explore new things. Definitely explore new things. So what are you waiting for, Cheeseball91? Go out there, don't be shy, meet new people, go to conferences, join Discords, participate right now, because you never know, it might change the course of your entire life with just one relationship. Pretty crazy. So I'm gonna end the stream right here. Remember, Networking is important. I hope you found this information valuable. I'm gonna end the stream right now. I will see you people later.
Give it up for GC. Thank you, GC. Coming up right now to the stage to shut it down, close it out, we have Cam talking about his coding journey and his decision to go to a boot camp.
Yo, it is your boy Cam. Hopefully everyone's having a wonderful day. Hopefully everyone's doing awesome. I appreciate RealToughCandy for giving me this opportunity to do this open mic event. I kind of wanted to share an important topic on what has made me a better developer. And that is why you should be joining a code bootcamp. So some people are probably asking, Cam, why are you talking about this? Are you getting paid to say this information? I'm like, man, I ain't getting paid for nothing. I'm the type of person that I'm real authentic. I'm always gonna keep it real. I'm always gonna be honest. I'm not gonna sugarcoat nothing because that's just how I am. That's how I grew up. That's how I was raised. And the reason why I want to bring this topic up because I'm talking about from personal experience on how I feel about it. Okay, I'm going to talk about my story a little bit so you kind of get a little more background on me and what I'm doing currently. So when I first started learning how to code, I saw this guy on YouTube called Joe, aka Coding Phase. I'm sure y'all know about Coding Phase. Real solid dude. He's one of my peoples. We actually recently linked up in Connecticut. I did a road trip from Oklahoma to Connecticut. And man, that was probably the craziest trip of my life, man. Like, I don't know if y'all saw my interview with them. I talked about how, there was 22 hours out of 24 hours that, I swear to you, I don't know how I made it. Because I took a 2-hour nap or something like that. Woke up, man, I was seeing stuff, man. I was hallucinating. It was real dark. And I was starting to see stuff in the clouds. So I was like, oh man, I should have probably took a hotel or something. But I was I just want to get to Connecticut, man. I don't want to be driving for 2 days. Because it was July 4th when I got there. And I was like, man, I'm going to give me some food. I'm going to get some drinks. Just have a good time with my boys, because it's the first time I ever met him in person. But we talked a lot, and we had a lot in common, and his story is real cool. So when I saw his story, I was like, man, if he can do it, I can definitely do it. And it just inspired me, because I never really saw it. Before that point, I never saw anybody who did the type of things that I was trying to do, that I could relate to on a personal level. So I thank him for that. One of these days, I'm going to give him a lot of money. I'm like, hey, man, I appreciate you helping me stay focused, stay committed, and learn how to code. Here's a check, I don't know what that check's going to be, but I'm going to send you one day. So back to, more of my story. I did this little internship with him. It was, me and, 3 other dudes. I learned more in that internship with him or mentorship, whatever you want to call it, than I ever did learn anything else on my own. Because I've attempted to learn how to code several times before I got to that point. But every time I tried to learn, stuff wasn't sticking. I just gave up. I quit. I'm sure everybody got friends that have done the same thing. Or I'm sure maybe even you have experienced that. I don't know. So after doing all that, with the mentorship program, I learned a lot, like I said before. I gained some gems, I gained some insight, and actually had real projects. So then I started doing interviews. This is where things kind of took a turn for the left for me. So I did interviews, I got some callbacks, and I probably should have kept going, but I was getting discouraged because when I got to these interviews, people were asking me these weird questions, like they were asking about PHP when it was a front-end position. And I'm like, man, I already told you I'm a front-end guy, and I'm applying for a front-end job. Why do I need to know PHP? Why I gotta know these old PHP technology, like stuff with PHP? Like it was like, I forgot what it was, man. It was something stupid. So I kind of passed on that job. I didn't even do the test. Like I probably should have even took the test. But I was like, man, I'm a front-end guy. I'm not trying to do this full stack stuff. And they were only offering me like $30K, something like that, something low. It was like for some DJ company out here. So it probably was a good idea. I didn't take it. Who knows? I don't know what came of it. But, so fast forward a little bit. I got discouraged. I stopped really applying for jobs. I just kind of, I was coding a little bit, but I really wasn't doing as much as I really should have. And then, my dad got real sick. He got real sick, and I think I moved to like Louisiana at the time. And I was thinking, I was like, should I move back home? My mom keep blowing my phone up. She asking about me all the time. And I know she worried about me and she worried about him. Cause it was real serious. Like he got like a tumor that can't be removed. So like he'll never be the same. Like he lost like 100 pounds. Like he weighs as much as I do now. And, and that's not a good thing. Like I think the doctors at the time said he only had a year to live. So that's when I moved back home and everything kind of changed for me. Like I stopped coding. He was in the hospital for like 6 months. And I was like, I had to do like a real gut check with myself. I was like, man, like I understand that we all have paths that we're trying to take. Sometimes things don't work out. And I almost accepted my fate. I was like, yeah, I'm just going to have a regular old job that pays the bills whenever it gets out. And, just call it a day. Maybe my dreams just ain't going to happen. So eventually he got out of the hospital. It took about, like I said, about 6 months. And then from that point forward, I started trying to get back into coding. I relearned HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Because I think the first time I was learning all the way to JavaScript, after I did the mentorship program, I got stuck with JavaScript and I just, got frustrated. And I really didn't have a good resource that could really like put me to the right direction to get me over that hump. I saw Udemy courses and stuff like that, but those things weren't really helping me. So you fast forward a little bit further, then I saw this thing about Lambda school. And I was like, 50K. And I think I saw Lambda school even 6 months before that. But at the time, I did like their free intro to the web development course they have. And I was like, it's cool. But then I was like, it's probably a scam. Like they trying to get this free course to try to get me in. And I think at the time you had to pay like $1,000 up front or something like that. It wasn't completely free. So I really was skeptical because I don't like spending my money if I don't know if it's going to be legit in the long term. So then I saw it again, the intro to web dev course again. And I was like, I'm going to check this out. I'm going to see what they got. And I was really impressed with like all the material they were covering for free. I know there's free resources out there, but like this stuff was like really legit stuff. And then, they were talking about, hey, if it's free, you don't have to pay if it's a $50,000 or more job. And I was like, okay, so there's no risk for me. I mean, the 17% for 2 years, that's a little steep. But if they are able to teach me, the front end, the back end, computer science, and I do like a labs project, which is like a capstone project, which is a project that you get to show all the skills you've learned and you pretty much essentially build a startup, I think it may be worth it. Because I checked the curriculum out, like it all checked out. So I went ahead and signed up, did my interview, got a call back, and they were like, Cam, welcome to Lambda School. And I was like, yes. Finally some good news. After all these years, like, finally some good news. Like, because it's been a rough few years before that point, to be honest with you. And, like, I was getting discouraged, and I don't know if any of y'all can relate to this, of someone that, you know, had high hopes and dreams for themselves, and stuff just didn't work out as fast as you wanted to or as planned. You know, life is kind of crazy. Like, you got these peaks and valleys. You got these different events that happen in your life that, you know, kind of shape who you are as a person. And you get to see who you really are. And it was real cool because, like, I think going to Lambda School is probably one of the best decisions of my life, to be honest with you. Because I met a lot of cool people since I started Lambda School. The community has been real cool. And, like, I finally understand how to ask questions. And I think that's the big thing. Learning how to ask questions. Because, you know, before I go to Stack Overflow, ask a question, but I wouldn't ask, like, the right question. And I still wouldn't really go there if I was a newbie, to be honest with you. Because I feel like Stack Overflow and Reddit are the two worst resources to use if you're trying to ask a question. Like, it's good to check it out, like, if you want an answer to something, but don't be going there, you know, because they'll downvote you to heck, and or they won't even answer your question. And I'm like, you know, everybody was a new developer at one point. So, you know, at least be nice, you know, at least, you know, have some decency. Be like, hey, man, like, this is the answer to this, but maybe next time in the future, can you ask this question in a particular way so that we can help you better? Something like that, instead of just being rude, which I don't like. You know, so, like, I usually tell people when they're asking a question, first, frame it where what is the expected value that you're trying to get? What is the error you're getting? And can you, like, tell me, like, what you used resource-wise before you ask me the particular question? So I kind of know, like, like, where you are, like, in the process of trying to find the answer to the question. If you ask me those particular things, then, you know, I'm like, okay, he's on the right track, or maybe he's far off, but I can lead him the right way. Because I'm not going to give you the answer either. I'm not a part of this little ideology of, like, hand-holding and giving you the answer. Because, you know, I see too much of that. People ask a question, they expect you to give them the answer. And if you do that once, they're going to expect it over and over and over again. Because I see that a lot, you know, as the team lead for Lambda School. You know, I got my own group of students that I help. Like I said, trying to get them jobs. And it's just like a interesting learning experience. And another thing that I learned is how to be a good leader. I think I've always had good leadership qualities, but I think with Lambda School, it's kind of getting to the next level where I've seen people seeing me as like a mentor to them, or someone they can trust, or someone that, you know, if they need me as a reference, you know, they can call me up or hit me up and be like, hey, Cam, you know, I'm thankful for you helping me out with this job or get me to this point to get the job. Can I use it as a reference? I'm like, yeah, sure. So I think that's really important to help other developers out. And I'm always willing to help people. Like, it don't matter, like, what part of the curriculum you're at. If you have a question, I'm willing to help. And I think that's a good skill to have. Everybody isn't a leader, though. Everybody is not meant to lead. Some people are just meant to be good foot soldiers. You got to know your role. You got to know where you stand. My last job, I said this a lot. Like, I was like, man, like, you got to, like, figure out who you are as a person and make the maximum and do the maximum you can based on who you are. And I think that's very important to have that mindset and to have those goals and to have those dreams for yourself. Because if you don't have goals or dreams, you're dead, man. Like, straight up. you gotta have some reason for living and moving on every single day. Like, plan stuff out too. Like planning. That's another thing I've learned with Lambda School. I'm in Lambda School with the last part of the curriculum, and my team that I'm currently in, I think our biggest issue that we've had is that our planning wasn't good enough. And even with like some of the Build Weeks projects that I've done, same thing. Like, that's why I always tell people, if you plan ahead and you plan really well, everything else will be easy. Like, I wouldn't even touch a line of code until you plan everything out exactly how you want it. Like, I'm talking about week to week to week. Obviously, things will change, but, as long as you have, like, stuff on your Trello board on what you're supposed to be doing, then it's easier for everybody, and everybody's not going to be stepping on each other's toes, and there's not going to be merge conflicts and stuff like that. That's going to set everyone back a couple days or maybe even a couple weeks. Who knows? And then, obviously, another thing that I learned was, like, I knew about Git workflow a little bit when I started Lambda School, but I think with labs, I learned, like, how to use it properly, like how to have feature branches with your develop branch, and then your develop branch goes into your master branch. So you kind of like have everything separate away so that nothing ever goes to the master branch until everything in your develop branch is good and dandy and you're ready for production. That's another thing I learned, because they don't teach you that, man. Like, I don't know how many boot camps really teach that type of thing, because I'm sure there's some boot camps out there that never even touch that stuff. And then obviously, because I've seen people that don't even know how testing works. We go over testing in the back end part of the curriculum. I kind of wish we went over that a little bit more, but at least we kind of got like a general idea on how testing works. That's another big thing that I see, that there's developers that don't know how testing operates and how to use it effectively. Obviously, I wouldn't go overkill with it. Like, I wouldn't test everything. Some people do. Yeah, it's not my strength, but that's another skill that I learned, a skill that I'm sure that will help me a lot when I actually like look for jobs in the industry. Because like I said, I'm trying to get done with this team lead position. I probably want to end that right when I graduate Lambda School, and then start looking for actual jobs, because that's really important for me. I want to get the 6 months of experience in my belt, and then I'm able to leverage myself to hopefully get a mid-level position. That's my goal. And kind of explain like how teaching others has helped me become a better developer, because I feel like even since I started as a team lead, I've gotten way better in explaining code to other people and how to just think things through. And that's a really important skill. I know this video's been kind of long, but I kind of want to give you my tips and why I thought that Lambda School has been a good decision for me, and why you should join a coding bootcamp if you ain't already. So until next time, see you. Peace.
All right, developers, there it is, the developer open mic only on RealToughCandy. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please give it up for these developers. It is really brave of them. It's the first one. They really didn't know what to expect. I just said, hey, let me see your videos, and they sent me some videos. Recording yourself and putting yourself out to the world takes a lot of mental and emotional energy. So please leave them a comment. If you're watching this at the premiere, leave a chat comment. Just show them some love. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to be doing this again. I want to see your video. I want to see what you have to say about development at the open mic. Thanks for watching. Peace.